is actually championing a bill that actually would take voting rights away from a lot of black people in this country.
Wait, what voting rights is he taking away from black voters?
Oh, if we look at
the SAVE Act?
the SAVE Act, that's exactly what we're talking about. That is
So word around a campfire is that voter ID is racist. And what's funny is it's all white Democrats saying that. Like,
not just all white Democrats there. It's just Democrats in general. White and black, Hispanic, Asian, doesn't matter. Democrats believe that requiring an ID to vote is Jim Crow 2.0. These people should be ashamed of themselves.
you don't see no black people saying not having ID is racist. We say we all got ID. I've had ID since I was 16 years old. Every black person I know has ID.
I've had one since 15, learner's permit.
Every black person that people ask about ID say they have ID and they know people with ID. It's only white Democrats saying that black people don't have ID. Like we're too broke to have ID. We're too poor to have ID. That we don't understand the importance of having ID. Like black people are not at the same level of white people when it comes to getting identification. That we just walking around with clothes on, money in our wallet, a debit card, but we don't have no ID. This is how white Democrats think of y'all. It's not white Republicans saying this. These are Democrats saying that black people are less than white people when it comes to having documentation to live in this country. See, y'all not catching on to it. We've been telling y'all the Democratic Party is the party of the racists. They're telling you to your face, you don't add up to us. You're not like us. You don't believe it? Listen to them.
There's a new Pew Research poll that 95% of Republicans, but also 71% of Democrats like this idea. So why do you not?
It's Jim Crow 2.0. And I called it Jim Crow 2.0, and the right wing went nuts all over the internet. That's because they know it's true. What they're trying to do here is the same thing that was done in the South for decades to prevent people of color from voting.
These people should be ashamed of themselves. And anybody that is falling for this, come on, man. Seriously, in 2026, I don't know anybody that doesn't have an ID. And to be honest with you, if you can't get an ID, you don't deserve to vote. Seriously. Nowadays, they've made it entirely too easy for people to obtain their birth certificates if they've lost it, for people to obtain their social security card if they have lost it. It's too easy. You can do it from your phone. The fact that these people want to get out here and lie to the American people and tell us, hey, it's Jim Crow 2.0 for requiring American citizens to show their ID to vote. That in itself lets you know that there is something way more nefarious going on. They know that there are people that are not citizens participating in our elections, and they don't want to change a thing. And when I say they, I'm talking about the Democrats. I want you guys to see this graphic. Look at this. Thankfully, this bill passed in the House, the SAVE Act, it passed. Look at this. 217 Republicans. You had one Democrat supported, 213 voted against it. Look at this. 83% of Americans support voter ID. Almost a majority. 99.5% of Democrats voted against it. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is basically, hey, we're being taxed without being represented. This is taxation without representation. When the majority of the people in the country, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, says, hey, we want this. And you have Democrats come out and say, nah, we know better than you. We know what's best for you. That in itself needs to tell you everything. That in itself should tell you everything that you need to know about the Democrat Party. They are no longer, and to be honest with you, they may have never been interested in representing the people, their constituents. I'm a firm believer that when people show you who they are, you have to believe them. Now, I'm not saying if you're a Democrat, I'm not saying, hey, come on over to our side and join the Republican Party. But I do think that you should, at minimum, go and be an independent and start judging these politicians accordingly. Stop giving these people free passes and stop letting them gaslight you with old racist tropes, calling this situation Jim Crow 2.0. My grandmother, who's 83 years old, God bless her, is still around. She, out of her own mouth, would tell you, hey, what we got going on right now is nothing remotely close to Jim Crow that she experienced way back when. It's a slap in the face to every American, especially the Black Americans who are still alive, and there's a lot of them that dealt with Jim Crow. It's a slap in the face for them to come out and say something like this. These people should be ashamed of themselves, but the Democrat Party, they have no shame. They only care about amassing power, and they'll do it by any means necessary.
Married women just aren't that smart, guys. I don't know why we haven't all realized this. So as a representative for the left, the lefties, liberal lefty besties, who I'm unmarried, of course, because I would never be married. Married women would never be capable of having an entire, organizing and system to keep track of all of their documents that they need to prove their identity. That would never be how a married woman keeps track of all of those details to make sure that she can prove her identity and also the identity of all of her children and also her marriage and all of those things. That would never be how a married woman keeps up with things to make it really easy to go to doctor's appointments, register her kids for school, also go and get copies of her ID whenever she needs it, also to verify her residency, be able to get, rent places, be able to buy cars. There's no way she would already have a passport for work because she actually has a career, had a career where she needed to go travel abroad to actually go work. There's no way she would already have this because married women are poor and stupid. There's no way that married women are going to know how to prove why their last name doesn't match their birth certificate. There's no way they would have a document called a marriage license to prove that they got married. There's no way they would still have a copy of their older social security card along with having photo ID or even having, like I said, that marriage license or their birth certificate. There's no way that they would know how to prove that they are who they say they are because they're dumb married women, right?
I know she's being facetious, but yeah, she's right. You literally have women in Congress saying that, hey, women that get married aren't going to be able to vote because they're not going to be able to go down and get their information updated, get their birth certificates and social security cards updated. They're just not going to be able to do it because they don't know how to do it. These people are outrageous. At the same time, though, they'll say that women are just as strong as men, just as competent as men, just as smart as men. They should be in CEO positions. They even think and believe that women should be president. But, a woman can be president, but she can't figure out how to go through the name change process and get all her information updated after she's been married. Come on, man. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense.
What voting rights is he taking away from black voters?
Oh, if we look at
the SAVE Act?
The SAVE Act, that's exactly what we're talking about. That is actually going to continue to disenfranchise overwhelmingly a lot of people of color. There are so many civil rights organizations that have run the data. If we look at the way that...
Isn't it crazy how these people can just lie through their teeth? Seriously. It is insane how these people can just lie through their teeth.
It is going to disenfranchise black voters. It's the same reason why Chuck Schumer called it Jim Crow 2.0.
So,
this is the same president. If we want to continue...
You haven't said how yet.
I am talking about it. It's the way that you're putting new poll taxes on this when you're making people have...
Poll tax?
That's what we can call them now. It's kind of an idiom, right? If you want to say that people have to prove that they are citizens, that they have to prove with a voter ID, the reality is you're layering what is a constitutional right for the American people and making it harder for people to vote in this country, and it's going to disenfranchise black voters.
Concern you that you're making all these claims? You've yet to lay out how it's hurting anyone, but 76% of black voters think we should show an ID to vote. 80% of Hispanic voters, 83% of the American people. Are you saying that black voters
the
are
SAVE
too
Act
dumb to know
just,
what's good for them? I mean,
the
it
SAVE Act
sounds
isn't
pretty,
just about
it sounds pretty condescending to me.
That's
the SAVE Act is not
three-quarters
just
of black
about
voters.
IDs.
And why does Abby feel like she has to come in and save the day and start over talking Scott? Shut up, Abby. Insufferable. She has to be one of the most insufferable hosts on TV.
Who want voter ID?
But to be clear, the SAVE Act is not just about ideas. The SAVE Act is about proof of citizenship.
So what?
So it doesn't.
It also makes it very hard for married women who've changed
I was just
their
going to say,
lives.
we talked about this before.
People,
It's not. It actually, there's an argument to be made that red state voters, women, poor white voters could be just as.
I know you think they're dumb too, don't you?
Young
I mean,
voters.
that's the thing.
Nobody
I hear
they're
these
dumb.
arguments. I've heard Democrats all week long.
Freaking liberal elites, man, with their noses in the air that think that people can't get an ID. You can't get on a plane without an ID. You can't buy any alcohol without an ID. You can't hit the casino without an ID. And what we do know, unfortunately, poor blacks, poor whites, poor Hispanics, they love those types of things. They love it. You can't buy tobacco. Seriously. You can't hardly do anything without an ID. You can't get a job. You got to do that I-9. You can't get a job without an ID. You can't register your kids for school without one. The list goes on and on and on. These people should be ashamed of themselves for them to come out and say these things. Oh my goodness, man. It's upsetting. It really is. It's frustrating. It's infuriating that these liberal elites with their noses in the air, looking down upon poor people, thinking that they can't do anything. They should be ashamed of themselves, man.
An opinion on voter ID laws?
Yeah, they're usually pretty racist and they're bad. I think voter ID laws are a way to perpetuate racism.
Would you go as far as say those laws are racist?
For sure.
Do you think it suppresses the African American vote?
Definitely.
Tell us how.
Because they're less likely to have state IDs.
Minority voters are less likely to have the kinds of IDs that have been described or required.
And they say Republicans are the racist ones, huh? Really? And they say Republicans. All these same people that are out here saying that, hey, black people don't have the the IQ to go and obtain an ID. These are the same people that will out of their own mouth say that, hey, people on the right are racist.
Type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs or other places where they can get identification.
You can always get IDs you do over the internet. Does that also make it difficult for black people in particular?
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay an internet service provider for certain fees.
Now black folks don't have the internet.
I think that's harder for black people to go online.
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works.
A lot of people have smartphones, but you might not have data.
For most of the communities, they don't really know what is out there just because they're not aware or they're not informed. I also think there's a repression of black voting with how if you're a convicted felon, you're not allowed to vote and everything. And when you look at swing
so now all black people are felons.
states like Florida, that's a huge population of the African Americans.
Now I'm here in East Harlem to ask black people their thoughts on what you just heard. Do you have ID normally? Do you carry ID around?
Yes, I have state ID.
Do you carry ID?
Yes, I do.
Do you know any black person who doesn't carry ID?
No. Everyone that I know has an ID. Why would they think we don't have ID?
That's a lie. Why would they say that?
Do you have ID?
Yes.
Because I have my ID and my friends have their ID, so we know what we need to carry around.
Everybody that I know have ID. That's one of the things you need to walk around with New York with, ID.
Do you know any black adult who does not have ID?
No, I don't.
Is it a weird thing to even say that?
Yes, it is.
What is this, some type of trick candy cameras?
I know, right? That's the only thing I brought with me.
Those are legit IDs. I heard a lot also that black people can't figure out how to get to the DMV.
Really?
What does that say to you?
I know it's that, on 25th Street.
Do you know where the DMV is around you?
It's on 125th Street and 3rd Avenue, I believe.
You know how to get there?
Yeah.
Would you have a problem getting there if you had to get there?
No.
You know what's really sad, though? You know what's really sad is that the white liberals that he spoke to and interviewed, and these folks, these black people in New York, they're voting for the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? They're on the same side. I would assume that all of these people are voting Democrat, believing that Republicans are racist, not understanding that it's the white liberals that think that they're stupid, dumb, and inferior to them. It's the craziest thing ever, man. It is the craziest thing ever. They don't even know who their real enemy is.
These guys say that the Save America Act is needed to prevent undocumented immigrants from voting, but y'all already know that that is not a thing.
A jury just convicted a woman in Massachusetts of voter fraud.
We're talking about a 59-year-old illegal immigrant who's been in the country for years, stole someone else's identity, and then voted in the 2024 presidential election. Take a look at this photo here. This is Lina Maria Arovio Hernandez. In this picture, you can see her, Martha, wearing that I voted sticker that we all get when we go to cast our ballots.
Again, if a Democrat is talking, they are lying. It's obvious that they all got the same talking points, and that's why they're spewing the same nonsense. Oh, it's Jim Crow 2.0, and black folks won't be able to do it. And the women, they won't be able to vote because women are too stupid, even though they will tell anybody that's listening that men and women are the same. Although these are the same people that don't really know what women are. It's the most confusing situation. You don't know what you're going to get. Their situation, their policies, their agenda, their talking points, they just, it's just, man, they counteract each other, man. These people are just walking hypocrites, man.
Whip Clark, you are saying that the Save America Act suppresses voters, but over 70% of Democrat voters actually support voter ID. What's your response to that, and why are Democrats so misaligned with the base on this issue?
Listen, this Voting Act goes way beyond voter ID. So you're comfortable with saying to women in this country who've been married and changed their name that you now have to travel, go to your clerk, fill out affidavits, pay for a passport? Most people don't have a birth certificate or a marriage certificate that they can prove. We know this is what this is about. It's about voter suppression. It's about suppressing women's votes, full stop.
These people should be ashamed of themselves, and anybody that is listening to this and saying, yeah, they should be also ashamed. Think about this, man. If you needed to get a birth certificate, you can go online. I think it's called like vitalrecords.com or something along those lines. And you can pretty much file online, pay the money. I think it's 10 or 15 bucks, and they will mail your birth certificate to you. If you, for whatever reason, lost your marriage license, you can go right down to the county that you got married in and ask them to print you one out. It'll cost you a little bit of change, but you can get you one. Again, I got to say this, man. If you can't get an ID to vote, you do not deserve to vote. Simple as that. Full stop, lady. These people are ridiculous, man. They really are.
Over to the Senate to give them even more incentive to go protect the sanctity of every American's vote. And that is the SAVE Act plus a picture ID requirement. Look, you can't even get on an airplane. You can't go to a bar tonight without showing a picture ID. Yet there are people in many states where the states actually have laws saying you can't show ID, which is a recipe for fraud, for stealing your vote if you're voting legally, so that somebody can come behind you illegally in another country and actually vote and steal your vote. Because if somebody's voting illegally, they're stealing your vote if you're following the rules. So SAVE Act plus picture ID, we're going to bring that too, send that to the Senate. I think a lot of Americans would like that protection, because if they're following the rules, they just want everybody else to. What makes people angry is when you see boxes of ballots showing up 2 weeks after an election, and then next thing you know, lo and behold, a Democrat takes the lead after being behind for 3 weeks after Election Day. And then somebody who voted by mail in the military, they're overseas fighting to defend our freedoms. Their votes that got in legally before the election are being nullified by somebody illegally. It needs to stop. We're going to have a bill to do just that.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. I was one of those people that was in the military, and I voted at least once while we were on deployment. And yeah, you turn in your, absentee ballot. They handed those things out to us. We filled them out and we turned them in. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. What are your thoughts, man? Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family or buy your brother a coffee. That link's in the description box below. Join us Tuesdays and Fridays, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for ARP in the morning. Come check us out. If it's your first time, let us know so we can properly welcome you to the show. And as always, keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, he gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, fear can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. In the Lord hit my chest, kicked death from my breath, put power in my step.